I feel unsafe because my autistic neighbor exhibits strange behavior or he constantly follows me when I take my dog outside at night. Hi all. I've never posted here before, but I've been thinking about writing this for a while now, since I'm really starting to feel uncomfortable and could really use some advice for who to contact and what to do. I, Ally, 23, female, live in student housing as a graduate student. I have my own apartment in a small multifamily complex. There are about 4 other students there, one of which I will refer to as Tim, 45, male. Tim has autism. I know these terms are outdated, but for context, his autism is rather profound and he has lots of social difficulties and stims in conversation. I previously haven't had any real difficulties interacting with him, especially since I used to be an instructor for children with autism and am used to handling various social behaviors from people on the spectrum. But in the past couple of months his behavior toward me has changed, and I'm at a loss for what to do. I take my dog out at various times throughout the night to relieve herself. There is only one way out of the complex, and I have to pass by Tim's apartment in order to do this. But after living here for about 6 months, I didn't have any trouble with this. Sometimes he'd come out to say hi, and I'd let him pet my dog, but this was always at an appropriate time. About a month and a half ago, things started to get weird when I took my dog out at 4:30 a.m., which isn't unusual, and saw him peeking at me through the window. He then opened the door and came outside to sit down and pet my dog. She started barking, and I politely told him that I can't have her barking at this time of night, and took her inside. I'll admit I felt a bit uncomfortable with him coming out so late at night. After all, he is a large, older man, and I'm a very small female. For the next month, I would notice Tim lingering outside the apartments a lot more often. I found it disconcerting when he was doing this late at night. My partner, Eve, 20, female, came to sit for a month, and while she was there, his behavior got even stranger. Nearly every time I took my dog outside, he would open his door and come out to talk to me, which made me uncomfortable because it seemed he was actively watching for me. But when I asked my partner to come out with me, he would open the door, see her with me, and then close the door without a word. It got to the point where I no longer wanted to take my dog out alone and eventually put up a security camera for peace of mind. The day my security package was actually delivered, my partner was up having a school Zoom meeting in my kitchen while I slept. Apparently, during the meeting she started to hear him yell my name outside my door, followed by package, and she ignored it, but it went on for several minutes. This made me really nervous to hear about, and after I put the camera up, the behavior slowed. But the other day my partner went back to her home state again, and Tim's behavior changed again. He came up to me on the way back from doing laundry in our shared laundry room and asked me if I was a lesbian. I was kind of taken aback, but figured since he has autism, he doesn't really understand if a question is inappropriate. But 2 days later it got worse. I was taking my garbage out, and there's a small alley between our apartments and the dumpsters. There is only one way in or out. It was nearly midnight, and I checked the cameras first to ensure I was alone before going out. But when I turned around, he was standing in the alley, nearly blocking my way out. He looked on the verge of tears. I awkwardly said hi and stepped around him so I wouldn't be cornered in the alley, and he started confessing a variety of emotional and family problems to me. I could see he was having a hard time, so I was polite and answered him, and said him to see a therapist if he needed someone to talk to. He then said something odd to me about not having a partner and how he wanted one really badly, not to put me on the spot, and mentioned he knew about my current partner. Of course, now I think I see why he's been acting so strange toward me. Here's the thing though, he's still following me outside when I take my dog out, and sometimes we just stand there quietly and watch if I'm not engaging with the conversations he's trying to start. I have started carrying pepper spray and will admit I'm feeling very concerned for my safety. My mom says it's a harmless crush and I should just politely tell him to stop cornering me, but I don't know how to safely have this conversation just in case I may actually be in danger, and I don't feel comfortable doing so. Any advice on what I should tell him to make him understand his behavior or is making me feel unsafe? Should I even tell him, even though he has autism? I feel like he should know not to corner me in an alley at midnight. My school does not have many people working during the summer, and I'm not sure who I should report this to if I do. Several people close to me who have met him, including someone who is also on the autism spectrum, are telling me to not confront him and just report this behavior but again, My parents just say his autism is making it difficult to understand that his sudden change in behavior or is off-putting and he's getting over a harmless crush. Either way, I feel unsafe at times, and I want to hear some advice from you guys as to what I should do. Advice from anyone on the spectrum would be especially appreciated since I want to know if maybe I'm just misinterpreting his challenging social skills as something more concerning. Thank you so much. Update. Thank you all for the replies. You guys are so helpful and have helped me realize the danger I'm in. I want to believe this is the best case scenario where he just doesn't realize his behavior or is inappropriate. Logically, this is the most likely case, but I have to base my actions around a worst case scenario. My gut says something is very wrong. You guys are right that I need to listen to that. My safety has to take priority over his feelings, and I will be doing everything I can to avoid interactions with him. This weekend, he hasn't come up to me directly. He has, however, been coming outside at night after 2:30 a.m., searching the yard where I usually take my dog, and then going straight back inside, 2 nights in a row now, as caught multiple times by my camera. I don't know why else he would do this other than to look for me. And this makes me especially unnerved that he's only attempting that approach at night now, as if he's trying to catch me off guard. I called my parents and broke down crying after reading all the comments you guys left in this thread, and they're finally taking me seriously. My mom purchased me a stun gun, which I will not be going outside without. I'm also not leaving the house alone anymore at all, not even to take the trash out. My dog will be accompanying me for everything. I didn't mention it in my previous post, but my dog is a pit bull. And even though she's the sweetest and has never once been aggressive, she is fiercely loyal, and I believe she could do some serious damage if someone attacked me. I also put in contact alarms for my windows and got a better deadbolt for my door, and my partner has also offered to come stay with me to help keep me safe. He has never approached me when I'm not alone. So for everyone who's been concerned for my safety, thank you, and I hope that shows I'm taking serious steps to keep safe. This morning, I submitted a report to the school and explained the situation in depth, including sending them footage from my security camera of him following me and my dog outside late at night. I requested they keep my report anonymous. I asked them to do a mental welfare check on him and connect him with counseling resources, and as some of you have suggested, I'm asking them to call and remind him not to approach people late at night while they're on their own. Those were my only specific requests, but I told them I need intervention and I need it now. I got a call back within a few hours and learned my case was fortunately assigned to a man who's worked with autistic adults for years prior to transferring to work at the university. So he's very understanding of the situation and why it's so complex, and will be working on connecting Tim with resources for his mental health and to point out which behaviors are appropriate and inappropriate. I'm hoping this is the best case scenario and that this intervention will be positive. If it's not, however, then I will be asking the housing department to temporarily move me. I feel much better with the help and communication I'm getting from the school, but I will continue to treat this like I'm in very real danger, because I might be. This post blew up, so I will update it if something more substantial happens. But for now the situation is reported, and you can assume no news is good news. Now to the next story. Story 2. My ex-girlfriend committed suicide. I am a firefighter and had to find her body. It's been a bit over 6 months since I posted that story, and I want to give you a quick update on my life. I'm on mobile, so I apologize if it makes it harder to read. To sum it up, my ex-girlfriend got into an abusive relationship with a drug addict. She was dealing with depression for a while and killed herself. I am a firefighter in NJ, but go to school in NH. I received the call and conducted research to find her. I drove back down to help with the search. We found her body in the woods, and she wrote me a suicide note where I left off was me upset about the situation and upset with the world, and most importantly, upset with myself. I was in a dark place for a while after that. I drank and shunned out everyone but my friends who were helping me for a good amount of time. I distanced myself from any girl who I met. The funeral wasn't long after, and Ray didn't even show up. I'm not sure if he was in VY TED, but it just shows the type of guy he is. I didn't feel comfortable with dating anyone, let alone even hooking up with them. It felt wrong, and I was scared I would get close to someone and lose them again. The depression I felt was destructive. My chief reached out to me not long after because I never told him how I knew her. He asked me to see a therapist and that he can set up a VY sit at the firehouse. I was in NH, so I told him I'll see my college counseling center and send him confirmation. I lied. I sent him a fake email, and he believed me. I had this notion that I don't need help because I help people. After 3 months, I was still depressed, but I started to talk to girls again. I met this really nice girl named Lacey. We talked and even hooked up a couple times. After a month and a half, she asked if we could start dating. I told her I couldn't. I told her my story and said I don't feel comfortable being close with anyone. She took it well and still wanted to talk, but I couldn't anymore. I felt as if she crossed a line in my mind, and we couldn't go back. I didn't want to be close with anyone like that again. Fast forward another month. My friend Daisy asked if I wanted to go to her sorority formal with one of her friends. I accepted, and that's when I met Vivian. Vivian was perfect. She was really sweet and a great date. We ended up talking for a while, and this time I decided it was time to be proactive. I opened up to her about what happened to me, and I told her I want to take it very slow. She completely understood. Instead of scaring her off, she helped me more than anyone has ever had. She convinced said me that avoiding therapy is a bad move and that there is no shame in seeking counseling. So I made an appointment and went. The therapist told me about a suicide prevention organization on campus that I should join and tell my story. I joined them, and they had suicide prevention events where people tell their stories to help others. I did my first story, and Vivian and a bunch of my friends went to support me. It was one of the most touching moments of my life, standing up on that stage and seeing all those people. I continued doing these events, and Vivian went to every single one. After 6 months, I told her I'm ready to start dating, but to understand that I may be distant at first because I'm not used to this. She understood. We've been together for 8 months, and she's amazing. She's the nicest and most supportive person I've ever met. Every time I'm in NJ, I go to Jenny's house and support her mom. On Christmas, I got a crew to come to her house and deliver presents to her mom's boyfriend's autistic son and her nephews. The way I was able to get relief from my pain was helping others, and if it wasn't for Vivian, I wouldn't have the guidance to do it. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.